On. What's up, guys? Classy Metal here, drinking some Minute Maid fruit punch. I don't know why, but for the past several days I've been hooked on that stuff. It's probably terrible for me, but I don't know. I've grown quite fond of that. This is not the Magic Bullet update. As I said in the previous video, I'm still working my way through that. It's tough because I constantly have stuff coming in all the time. I actually have a new turntable that should be here sometime this week, and I want to listen to some of that stuff on the new turntable because I think that might make a difference as to how I feel about the material and so forth. So that video is still coming. I promise it'll be here. It's going to be a long video when I finally do decide to make that one, but stay tuned for that because I did get some pretty good stuff out of that whole liquidation haul. I've got some stuff from kind of all over the place. I have a pretty large stack that I got of CDs that I picked up from a person on Facebook. I'm a part of several buy-sell trade groups on Facebook, as I've mentioned a few times in the past on this channel. I have a pretty decent stack that I'll show from that. I also got some new stuff in from eBay and other stuff, so I'll go through those first. And then I'll go through the new stuff. This one actually just came in today. This is the newest release from Skinless. This is Savagery. I have not listened to this yet. I've heard some pretty good things about this, but I haven't had the time to check it out on my own. I kind of wanted to wait until I had my own personal copy before I listen to it. But as I said, I have heard some pretty positive feedback on this album so far, so I'm definitely looking forward to giving this a listen. I just got this out of the mail and opened it up, and that's kind of what prompted me to go on and knock this video out. The next one I got this from eBay as well. It's actually the same seller that I bought the Skinless album from. This is the newest release from Dimmu Borgir, and this one is entitled Eonian, I think. Hang on, I just had a pop-up. Let me clear that. So it seems like I never get those pop-ups on my computer until I decide to do a video. As I said, this is the newest effort from Dimmu Borgir entitled Eonian. I've heard some very, very negative things about this album. I personally enjoy this. It's a definite step in a different direction for Dimmu Borgir. It's in this digipack. It has a pretty thick booklet with it as well, so I guess I can kind of show that. I don't want to spend too much time through all this because there's the band photo there. I have quite a bit of stuff to show. So I was saying it's a definite new direction for Dimmu. I know there's several people that have not enjoyed that album at all. I did. I found this to be enjoyable. I actually found it to be more enjoyable than the last few albums that they put out. I like those albums, but at times they seemed a little over the top with some of the theatrics that they had going on. I think this is being looked on as a weak album because they left those theatrics out, but I personally enjoy this. There are times that I could almost picture myself listening to either a Nightwish album or an Epica album, and I enjoy both of those bands for what they are, as well as Dimmu Borgir. It's just a new phase for this band. There'll never be it's one of those, I guess, kind of deals where people still long for some of the older, a return to the older material, but I just don't think that's going to happen. But for where the direction that the band is going now, I am a fan of this, and I do enjoy that album. Next up is one that I ordered from Metallic Media. I have their newest release, and I enjoyed it quite a bit, so I wanted to backtrack and pick up some of their older material. This is more black metal. This is a band called Velm. And the name of this release is Foldek. And I admittedly have not spent enough time with this album yet to give my full feedback on it. But if it's anything like their newest effort, then I think I'm going to enjoy this quite a bit. Got this for like $3, so either way, I don't feel like I'll be at any type of loss with that whatsoever. Sorry, my mouth is dry. I just got off work as well. The next one is one that a band that probably a lot of you don't like. This is a band called Dirge Within, and this is I think their last release that they did. This is entitled There Will Be Blood. There's a lot of Machine Head worship on this album, so if you're not a fan of Machine Head, you're not going to like this at all anyway. As I said, it's kind of got that thrashy Machine Head kind of vibe going on this. I don't like this nearly as much as their first release, Force Fed Lies, but it's not bad. I enjoyed this somewhat. I've given it one listen and I enjoyed it for what it was so far. Next up is one. These are all the Dirge Within, and the next three that I'm going to show were all from the same seller on eBay. eStocks. I believe they've changed their name. It's not eStocks anymore, but you can find some stuff fairly cheap most of the time through this. The next up is a post-black band, post-metal, post-black. It's entitled Chrome Waves. This is their debut EP. Actually, I think this is the only release that they have so far. Kind of progressive type stuff on this as well. Very light. I don't know how well that's going to pick up, but I enjoy that for what it was. I got that for $3 and something in free shipping, so it was definitely worth the money that I spent on that. Next up, we have some folk metal. This is Corpic Lonnie with Tales Along This Road. Pretty melancholy type stuff for Corpic Lonnie on this album. A little bit more melancholy. They have their moments on many of their releases, but it seemed more prominent on this release. There was a few of the little prongs. Listen, there we go. There's the inside. But as I said, it's kind of got that a much more sad gibe to that album. I'm digging it, though. I am digging it. And next up, we have Ulver with Caveldes Younger. Yeah, I'm going to butcher that. I'm sorry. Fantastic release. I mean, what can you say? Ulver is just a phenomenal band. I haven't heard anything bad from this band, so I guess from this project. So definitely pioneers in that whole atmospheric type black metal, folky black metal sound that's so prominent these days. The next stack that I'm going to show all came from someone. This will be all that I'm going to show. These came from someone on Facebook. As I said, I'm a member of those buy-sell trade groups, and I found these. I got a super deal on all these, so I'll kind of go through these pretty quick as well. First up is Inked in Blood by Obituary. I love that digipack on this, how it's kind of raised up. As I said, I got these all super cheap, so definitely helped me fill some holes in the collection that I've been needing to fill for quite some time. Next up is a band that I have some albums from them, and I just kind of had them shelved for a while, and I got an autograph and Metalhead box a couple months ago that kind of made me want to go back and kind of revisit some of this material. The band that I'm talking about is Atheist, and the one I picked up this time is Piece of Time. I've made no qualms about that. My favorite release from Atheist is the album Jupiter. It's one of their newer releases. It's not that new, but it's one of the newest in their catalog, and their old stuff is phenomenal as well. This as I said, I got that autograph from Kelly Schaefer, and it made me want to go back and kind of revisit some of their older material, and I'm glad that I did, because I'm at a point now that I think I can appreciate it a bit more than I would have in the past. This is a fantastic release, Piece of Time. This one is fantastic stuff, kind of jazzy death metal, has a bit of that technical death metal vibe going on as well. Next up is Goat Whore with Blood for the Master. There is a definite lack of Goat Whore going on in my collection, and I need to fix that as soon as possible, and this is a good start to do so. The next two, we have some death metal, both from the same band. This is a Deeds of Flesh with Of What's to Come. Went blank for a second. I hope that glare's not fighting me too bad, because that's some pretty stellar artwork on this release. Deeds of Flesh is just really heavy, just really dark, heavy type stuff. I think I showed the back, but just in case I didn't, show it again. Next up, we have Deeds of Flesh with Crown of Souls. My favorite of the two that I received through this. These were the first two albums from Deeds of Flesh that I put in my collection so far. It's another band that I felt like was lacking a presence in my collection, and definitely needed to be needed to be addressed, I say, and pick these up. Next up is one that I haven't spent much time with since I got it in. This is, I guess, black metal, maybe melodic, even symphonic black metal a bit. This is a Tribulation with the Children of the Night. I hear quite a good thing. I mean, quite a few good things about Tribulation. I just haven't spent the time with the band that I need to, and I figured this would be a good start for me, as it is the first release from them that I own, and maybe that'll spark up a love affair for that band. Next up is 3 from the same band. This is excuse me, Deathspell Omega. First release is Veritas, Diaboli, Manet, and Ethereum, Chaining in the Catacon. I believe this is a part of a 2-part set. This is just the one. I think there was some kind of deal where they did a couple of these. This is the only one from that I have. It's in a pretty neat little digi folder, digipack. Deathspell Omega, some pretty wicked stuff. So next up we have Paracletus, I think is how you pronounce it. This was released on Season of Mist. And I'm super pleased with this whole haul that I got from Facebook. As I said, the price that I got on this, I couldn't have got these anywhere else for what I paid for these. Next up, we have Kinos. Yeah, and this is also by Deathspell Omega. I apologize if I'm butchering these album titles. Please forgive me. I hope I don't get flagged. I hadn't looked at the artwork too much. Okay. Thought that was something that it wasn't. So kind of glossy digipack on this, but phenomenal stuff. Next up we have Gehenna with Malice. This is also the first Gehenna album that I've put in my collection. It's pretty solid black metal, as you can tell from that picture, and the artwork and the disc kind of give that away. No apologies whatsoever on that. There's the back. Autopsy. We have some death metal. Tourniquets, Hacksaws, and Graves. This is the slipcase edition. Front, back, out of the slipcase. Same artwork on the jewel case. Just strong. Just a strong death metal release from Autopsy. Fantastic stuff. Love Autopsy. Can't go wrong there. Next up we have Decapitated with Anti-Cult. I think this is their newest release. I could be wrong on that, but I do believe this is the newest release from Decapitated. Glad that they were exonerated on those charges. I thought from the get-go that those charges were probably bogus, so I'm glad they got off on those. Next up, we have one that some of you will probably mock a little bit. I know there's a lot of hatred for this band. This is 6 Feet Under with Crypt of the Devil. The vocal performance on this is rough. I'm not going to lie. I mean, I enjoy 6 Feet Under from time to time, but just the vocal performance on this is somewhat lacking. Next up, we have Father Befouled with a Revulsion of Seraphic Grace. Very dark death metal type stuff. I actually received another Father Befouled album in this stack, but I've misplaced it somewhere. I was listening to it the other day, and it kind of got left out. So hopefully on the next collection update that I do, I'll have that one. I'll kind of backtrack and show you the other one as well. The last two are Deathcore. I saved the Deathcore for last, so if you hung on this long without hitting that dislike button, this will give you a reason to do so. This is Oceano with Incisions. I don't listen to a whole lot of Deathcore anymore, but Oceano is so heavy that I make an exception for them from time to time. There are only just a small handful of Deathcore bands that I find myself returning to anymore, and this just happens to be one of them. And my favorite release from Oceano, Depths. This is probably their heaviest material, at least their heaviest that I've heard, and it's definitely my favorite from the band. So had to grab this. This is the 2-disc set, the CD, DVD. But yeah, that's all I got here. I got it was some old stuff, some new stuff, and hopefully some stuff in there that you like. If you need links or anything to any of that stuff, or want me to go back and tell you what something was, feel free to let me know in the comments. That's all I've got for today. As I said, the new turntable is coming in sometime this week, so I may do a video for that. Not sure if I'm going to or not. Magic Bullet video is coming, I promise. As I said, that there was just a huge stack of records and CDs and 7 inches, and it's a whole lot to take in, and I want to do the video justice and do the work, the bands and the albums justice when I do that video. So that's all I've got for today. I appreciate you guys watching. I just had a ton of new subscribers, so thank all of you. I'm glad that you're here. I hope you enjoy what you've seen and what you see through this channel moving forward. I am definitely appreciative for all of you. Thank you, Sean, over at Count Blagger's channel, for the shout out, because I think that's where the majority of you came from. Well, I'm pretty positive that's where the majority of you came from. So I'm definitely glad to have you guys along for the ride. Thank you so much. That's all I've got for today. Stay classy, stay metal, and I will see you all very soon, I promise.